What if I told you the way it has always been done is not the best way? Facing your fears will change your life. The passion behind this journey is merging two separate worlds into one with the goal of creating value and awareness for a better life.
I'd rather be sidelined trying to achieve greatness than watch greatness achieved and it only set on the sideline. Now introducing your host, Jacob Emery.
This episode is brought to you by R&R Pipeline, an infrastructure company. Our purpose? Enhancing America's infrastructure with a safety-driven, integrity-led culture that provides an environment for team members to grow and thrive. Welcome to another edition of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast. Today's guest is a strong-ass man. Brian Callahan, welcome to the show.
I appreciate you having me on.
A fellow blue-collar worker, a fellow 4 a.m. crew member, and the first world record of my life I have seen in person or contributed to at all comes to the thank you of Brian Callahan. 700-pound squat, ladies and gentlemen, 242. I was honored just to even be there, let alone get to wrap your knees. And I can tell you it was one of the most amazing feats of strength I've ever seen, dude. Super impressive. Well, and I remember like yesterday, like, holy shit, he's going to do it. It was wild.
That was a fun day.
That whole experience. Let's just dive right into the iron addicts. We are
truly.
It is something that the Iron and Infrastructure show is all about how the iron built by infrastructure.
Right.
So weightlifting and heavy equipment from a young age. That's where the pipeline passion came from. And the weightlifting side helped me overcome insecurity and all these confidence issues that I had. Being a little fat fuck as a kid, like it helped prevail me out of this place of misery to who I am today.
Yeah.
And without it, I don't know where I'd be at, but it creates such a brotherhood. The 4 a.m. crew is something special.
You're not kidding.
And it's been good to see you this week too. You're going to keep coming back, I have a feeling, because it probably felt really good.
It's been great to be back. That's for damn sure.
It is a brotherhood like no other. It doesn't matter what your race is, what your political beliefs are, what skin color you have, your gender. You walk in the door of the 4 a.m. crew, none of that matters. It's all left at the door.
Exactly.
Come in and get better. That's what it's all about.
Exactly. Everybody's equals once they walk in that door. And it's amazing.
And it is special.
Yeah.
I never take it for granted. Every morning I walk in, I have 10 to 15 minutes, whether in the parking lot, when I sit down, gratitude. Because I know one day that'll be the last time I walk in.
Exactly.
And every time I walk in, just in case something happens and it's the last day, I want to make sure that I appreciate it for a moment.
Absolutely.
It's a brotherhood, a bond that it's rare. It's special to be a part of. I'm forever grateful for it. I'm sure you are as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just the lasting friendships you can get out of it. I mean, people come and go through it, as we've seen over the however many years you've been training there. And since, like I was saying, 2017, since I started coming, there's so many people that have come and gone, but there's a small group of killers that, I mean, even above me are persistent in there every single day. And then some people left on their own accord and, move away, family and everything, and then still keep in touch with those guys. But
they're still the OGs.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's just, like you said, that bond is, you can text any of them now and say, hey, how you been? Be 2 years since you talked to them. And
it's just
they'll
like
talk
yesterday.
to you like you're your brother. Yeah.
Because it's different. It's something that is unique and it's special. You've been on teams your whole life. I mean, you played football.
Exactly. Yeah.
You've always had a team. I didn't. That's why I think I'm so passionate about it now.
Yeah.
I'm so passionate about team building with R&R Pipeline, with the 4 a.m. crew, with Max, because I didn't have that team growing up. I raced motocross, which is individual.
Yeah.
I had a handful of friends that raced too, but not that true team unity. This team against that team.
Right. When you hit that competition, it's me versus everybody else, and it's you got tunnel vision. I'm going to be that first one there.
Right.
Versus like football, which is a big one for me, is I have my responsibility out of 11 guys that are on this field, and we all have to make sure we're coordinated with what we're doing and what's, what the coaches believe in us to do to achieve the goal.
You got to have unity.
Exactly.
You got to have clarity. You got to have the communication. Everybody has to do their part. And it's individual success, team significance. That's what R&R Pipeline is now.
Yeah.
I want everyone to be successful, R&R Pipeline. Every person who walks through that door, I want them to achieve their dreams,
Exactly.
individual success.
Mm-hmm.
And while doing the individual successful thing, we create team significance by being unified and going and accomplishing this big goal.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about to me.
And there's a high level of trust there too,
Massive trust. Yeah.
because there's a whole lot of movement around you that you can't control and you're not supposed to be doing, but you got to know that your brother's going to do it.
Yep. And that is exactly where I was going to go with the iron, because not only are you dependent on that person to show up, you hold them accountable, they hold you accountable. It's an accountability like no other.
Yeah.
That person might save your life
Truly.
because we're lifting the amount of weight that could literally break us in half.
Oh yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Every time you squat, your back, well,
Oh, yeah.
your back wouldn't. My back would snap in half. My knee might buckle out
Right.
if I lifted like you do. When it comes to squatting, you depend on the people that are spotting you.
Truly.
Depend on the people around you to help be focused on what you're doing, to cue you in on things they're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a time where that weight's got to get lifted off you.
Exactly.
And a split second of distraction can end up burying you or breaking you.
Oh, truly. And it's even a piece of, depending on what that work, deadlift's a little bit different, but with bench and squat even, especially when you get up to the weights that you bench, you have to rely on at least 3 to 4 people being there, even to safely do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because, when you get up to those heavy weights, if you got a bar on your back,
It ain't no joke.
you're not even thinking about those people being around you. You're listening to your caller just telling you at your depth, but
Yep.
nobody's there.
Yep.
But yet you have 1 to 2 guys on each side of you. You got one person watching your back, and you got somebody operating the mono,
Yep.
and somebody watching your depth.
And the power in that is you're not worried about them being there because you trust them.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
same as your team.
All I got to do is look up and go, okay, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to stand the fuck up with this.
hmm And that's where the power is, because if you had to worry about who was spotting you,
Yeah,
you already missed,
exactly.
because you're not focused on the actual lift, you're focused on the external thing.
Exactly.
And that's what it's like on a team. You had your position, you knew what you had to do. If you had to worry about the person next to you doing their job for your safety and for the team's completion of that task,
Yeah.
you're not focused on the right thing.
No.
What
And
you focus on expands.
in terms of football, that's when people score touchdowns on defense.
Exactly.
When somebody's worried about what somebody else is doing and they're not doing their own job.
Or that someone comes and gets blindsided and hurt. Like, there's always something that is a downfall of that.
Yeah.
And it's that way in lifting too. And
Oh, yeah.
what's amazing? When I trained at Westside, we were doing a 5 rep max, 385. I was on my 3rd rep. And I was pushing the pace very, very accelerated, because
Yeah.
instead of letting the weight come down naturally, I'm forcing the weight down so I can get the 5.
Yeah.
Because I was concerned about burning out before.
Right.
Like, that's a lot of time under tension with that amount
Oh,
of weight.
truly. Yeah.
So 3rd rep, I bring it down on 2nd rep, because I smoked the first 2, and I bring it down.
Yeah.
And I go push as hard as I can. And the extra acceleration coming down that I put into place
Yeah.
caused a weakness in my grip. So when I pushed, my wrist collapsed and I pushed straight up. 385 went right in my rib cage, dude.
Oh, God.
And I remember wanting to, it knocked me out. So
I
it
believe
knocked air out of
Yeah.
me. And I wake up after a few seconds, and Tony Ramos center smacking me in the
Yeah.
side of the head, opens my diaphragm up. He extends my arms, opens up my diaphragm. And I thought, I think I punctured a lung. And I never did, but
I could only
I just cracked the ribs, but
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
And it was scary,
I
very
believe it.
scary.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've had similar things on squat where you almost had this massive thing happen that could have been catastrophic.
Oh, yeah.
What you do after those, what matters. It's not the adversity in life; it is the
How you
reaction.
react to it. Yeah.
And I thought about that after that time I came back. What's the reality check here? So it's like, okay, the truths are, I got the best spotters in the world around me. I had one bad incident because of my own incompetence.
Right.
What can I control? I can control the speed. I can control my grip. I can control these things. What am I scared of?
Yeah.
It happens again.
Right.
Now it's happened. The first time it happened was that time.
Yeah.
The people that are the best in the world know it happened. They won't let it happen again.
Exactly.
I got nothing to be scared of but my own self.
Yeah.
False evidence appearing real. Fear.
Yep.
It was not factual that I should have been scared. It was not factual
Right.
that it would happen again.
Yeah.
It was created in my head. So I had to just embrace that.
Yeah.
And I think just taking that first step is the hardest sometimes.
Truly.
I got it back under the bar and 4 plates goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you know this on the squat. 6 plates, 7 plates. You get up there and you're like, you have this visual of that amount of weight and you know what it means.
Oh, yeah.
You feel how heavy it is before it's on your back.
Exactly.
And you know what it is. It's a mental block though.
Right. Yeah.
How many times have you had that block there with any lift, any weight? You know exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And mentally though, it fucks you up because you know how heavy that is.
Right. I would say we were alluding to before, is before hitting 700 pounds, I had never actually attempted 700 pounds. There were times through tension, it was like, okay, that was 800 pounds through, or it was, five plates through however many bands it was at the time. And you just go, okay, I kind of know what that feels like. I know what it feels like when I stand up with it. And then but when I'm actually controlling it down in the hole and then
Coming out of it there.
Yeah. The crazy thing about and band training has helped me tremendously, but I always have this weird thing in my mind. I'm like, well, at the bottom of the hole, it's lighter. So I'm going to race the bands to the top. And that's why I feel like I'm good at squatting against the bands. But then it's all of a sudden, when you get to that straight weight, you're like, how's this going to feel different?
Yeah. It's going to be heavier.
Yeah.
Right.
Naturally, it's going to be heavier. And you just got to build up that tolerance in your brain. You go, G says it all the time. I unrack it, it's coming back up.
Yeah.
And
it's going to.
Yeah, exactly.
I might not bring it back up.
Right.
They might help me bring it back up, but
yeah,
the reality is I'm telling myself it's coming up because of me.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm going to believe that.
Yeah.
If you believe in it, it can happen.
Right. And that's, really the funny story about the 700-pound squat is everything leading up to it is really kind of adversity here and there. Mm-hmm. So I had not done a competition in at least 1 to 2 years prior to that. Or no, it had been 3 because 2020 was in there. That was weird years. But so that December, I do that meet just for fun out in Carrollton. And it was you squat, like 600 was on lock for me. I was like,
That's like me benching 4.
Yeah, I did this at 198 and I'm weighing 220 now, or 220, 230, whatever it was. I was like, I got this. This is walk in the park for me. And then I did 600 pounds at that meet, got it, great. And then I was like, okay, let's 625. Got it, great. 675, go down, buries me. Shit. I was like, man, I was really kind of hoping for something special at this meet. And I was like, but you're just getting back into competition. And I still PR'd on my meet total. And then I went, well, now I got the itch again. So I'm going to turn around and do that meet in February with the rest of the crew at Empower. And that was fun. So, but the problem was different monolift. First time I ever competed at one of those, a sanctioned meet with RPS. Well,
right.
Second sanctioned meet. We did the XPC 1 years before, but first RPS, and the monolift they had was different than the one we had. So I'm like, I got to figure out what number I am, and then go, okay, kind of screw around with
It's amazing how just the slightest environmental change throws everything off.
Yeah. Now, I will say their environment's freaking sweet. They got the lights, they got the turf, and that room is just awesome. Yeah. But with, you got the nerves going, you weigh in, you put all your numbers down. So that night, weigh in the next day, you get out there. And I put my rack height 2 notches too high. So I was like, 600 pounds, I got it. I unrack it, I pick it up, and the guy operating the rack goes, I can't get the hooks out. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. So then I do this awkward kind of like lift up, over. He finally gets it out. I try and buried me. I was like, you gotta be shitting me. I was like, I just look like the biggest phony out there right now. And I was like, okay, well, I got to stay at 600. And then I told him, I was like, change my rack height, put it down. And I was like, and this is that February after December. And I wound up with 633 at that meet, which I was happy. It was a PR for me. And I was at 220 competing that, finished with a decent total. I think it was close to a 1,500 total at that one. But then G turns around, looks at me and goes, well, shit, what's stopping you from, don't cut, go 242 and go for 700 pounds. Just ball out. And I was like, well, it was just after February. So I was like, what, March, April, May? It was 3 months. Let's ride. And then he was doing his documentary documentary prep at that time. He wanted to do the bodybuilding show Saturday. They changed the powerlifting meet to Sunday.
Right.
That was kind of a legit weekend. But then, so we get out to Empower that next weekend. I was like, okay, one, need to know I got to get my rack height right. I was like, I'm not screwing with myself on this time.
Right.
We even talked about how much of a shit show that was.
Right. Yeah.
And then, so weigh in the next day. Loved it. Didn't have to cut or anything. I weighed in. I think I was
Which is such a huge like relief. In
truly
itself.
though. Yeah. I mean, it takes
Mental.
away a mental piece. You're not worrying about anything going
Right.
into it. And then you just drive out, weigh in, you go, okay, now I get to eat all day.
Right.
So I think I weighed in at like 237 and I wound up weighing 244, which is like the heaviest I was at that point in time. I was like,
So you were bloated up, ready to rock.
oh yeah, I was ready to roll. And then we made that trip up to Akron and watched the guys compete in the bodybuilding show. And then I was like, okay, this is the day. Let's go. Drive out there in that morning. And but I'm going out and I was like, okay, so G's right before me in the flights once we put all our openers. So again, I was like, I'm not screwing up. I was like, I'm going to stick with the 600 opener.
Right.
I was like, you got this. You're not going to screw yourself again, but you're going to get ready to go. And but I was like, the one unknown was Cole came and he was rapping for G. That was a given. And I was like, dude can rap like none other. But I was like, the problem is with the flights and the way they worked. And I think Corey was about 2 guys in front of me.
Yeah, because it's by weight, right?
Yeah,
They put-
it's whatever your opener
just
is.
add a
they-
little bit more weight for the next guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and but the problem with how they do it is they also flip. Once you put your second weight, they change the order
Yeah.
because it's how they load the plates, and that kind of leads into this next part. But I was like, well, shit, I don't know who's gonna wrap my knees when I get here. I didn't think about it. I was like, we got a big group. I was like, somebody from one of the other flights or whatever. And I was like, but nobody who's normally wrapped my knees is gonna have to do it, or I'm gonna have to ask somebody. And
Yeah.
thankfully, you were at that meet, and unfortunate that you couldn't compete with us, but it was a blessing in
Dude, it
disguise
was meant
for me.
to happen that way, though.
Truly,
it
though.
was.
Yeah.
It was like, that wasn't my time. That was your time.
Right.
It was like, we're going to put you here and have this thing happen to you so you can be there for Brian.
Exactly.
It was like, sucked, but it was actually more rewarding to be a part of your greatness in that moment
That was amazing.
than it would have been for me to compete, honestly.
Yeah.
It was incredible. When you asked me, I was like, oh shit. Like, this dude's trying to squat 7 bills today.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, first of all, I'm humbled. And then second of all, I got a purpose for being here now.
Absolutely.
Because I didn't really have one before outside of being a
Yeah.
cheerleader. It's just amazing how that happens, though, isn't it?
Truly, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was, opened at 6, smoked it. I was like, all right, sweet. We're rolling now. We're rolling. And then I was like, okay, well, what's my jump? I was like, 633 the last meet. I was like, I know I got 655. So tell them 655, do it. So then again, you wrap me again, go out, smoke that one. I was like,
That was
sweet.
probably more impressive than a 600.
Yeah.
I think that one was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's got it.
was like,
Whatever he's going.
something's
it's-
happening
Yeah,
today.
because it was like you were right in sync, and it was like you shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was 650. And I'm like in your corner, like, because I was wrapping your knees.
You were also calling me, too.
And I was calling it, and like that was the other part. I'm like, oh my god, I've never done that before. I don't know if you do that or not. Yeah, I never called anybody before the meet. So like that's what the irony of it was. I had never wrapped someone's knees in a meet, and I had never called depth.
Well,
I didn't fucking tell you that
Hey,
because
you're one for one,
you
bud.
didn't really have often either
Yeah.
though, because like there wasn't that many people there that were not either competing or already
Exactly.
called.
Yeah.
You spoken for.
yeah.
Yeah, just broke that news to you, Brian. By the way, but
works.
Yeah, first
Hey,
time
one
it
for
worked
one,
out.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I'm sitting there. I'm like, I was borderline shaking. I remember sweating profusely because it was wintertime and like, or it was cold out.
Yeah.
And I had jeans and a t-shirt on, and I remember like having to go change my shirt
Yeah.
because I was drenched
Yeah.
from wrapping the knees as tight as I could, but then also like navigating through that.
Right.
And my nerves were shot,
Yeah.
dude. It was such an epic like event in itself, but
Yeah.
and then you were at 655, you smoke it, and then what's your mindset at that point?
I was like, oh, I got this. After that one, I was like, this in the bag. And I walk over, I was like looking at the chart today because it was kilos and threw me off. I didn't know what he said. I was like, wound up being 699.94 or something like that. But they had on the paper 700. So I was like, give me that. And so I go, you wrap me up. And then, like I said, they switched the order of the people going. So they called it out. You just finished wrapping me. And I was like, all right, cool. We're getting up, getting ready to go. And then I take a step up, and there's another guy standing right next to me. He's also all wrapped up in shit like that. Apparently he was taking 700, same weight,
Yeah.
but they put me in front of him. But they had the rack and everything loaded for him. So when I squat, I like the arms out because my hands go right where the arms are when they're inside. So he like steps up and they go, no, Callahan's up. And I could only imagine how pissed he was because then he had to take a step back. He's already wrapped up. He's got to wait for somebody.
Yeah, his
to
legs
go in
are gonna
front
be
of him.
blue by the time he gets under there.
But then, so I walk up and I'm like, all right, it's time to go. I look down, my shoe's untied. The rack was inside, so I like step up. I was like, you got to bump these out. So they get loaded up quick, bump them out. I walk up, get under the bar, look down. I was like, my fucking shoe's untied. I was like, I can't think about that right now. So then I load in, get up, stand up. Guy signals me to go down. I'm listening to your count as I'm going down, and as soon as it just felt like an eternity going down. And then you said, go. And I was like, all right, start rolling. I was waiting for it to stop me.
Yeah.
And it just smoked. And then all of a sudden I was like, I'm up. It's like, oh, let's fucking go.
Yeah. It was almost like a blackout experience for you. It had to be.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was for me. I remember like it felt like an eternity. I'm like 3, and then I'm like, oh my God, is he gonna fucking squat? Is he gonna shit his pants? Is he gonna fall over? Like I don't know what's gonna. It felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it felt like for you.
Oh, it was like all of a sudden I'm standing up again. I was like, holy shit, I got this.
Well, and there was a guy that had got called for depth, and the guy that was giving me the signal was the one that I seen him tap him, and then he called him for depth. I'm like, okay, this just like got accelerated. Like the situation just got advanced a lot because that's a world record.
Oh yeah,
squat.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, this fucker's not only squatting 700, representing the 4AM crew at the highest degree, but I got to call his depth and wrap his knees, and it's a world record.
Yeah.
So I remember like that last one, you're like, put a fucking cast on it. And I remember you saying that. I'm like, I'm going to make your ass like a mummy, dude. I'm going to,
sweet.
You are not going to have any movement in these knees. It's going to take 700 bills to get it down. And I remember just thinking like a cast. And I pulled as tight as I could. I remember the next day I woke up, my hands like, whenever the guy was, calling depth and whatever, my hands were like bleeding. I remember them being like filleted because I pulled so tight and I was holding it.
Yeah.
And then I would, like the way that I would do it, I would pull it as tight as I could.
Yep.
And when that thing would go around, like it was just filleting my hands wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember like the next day my back was shot. And I'm like, why am I sore? I didn't do nothing but wrap knees, but I was pulling on them so tight.
Yeah.
And then I wrapped Tyler Olds, and I think one other person I was helping them out some too during the session because they were at a lighter weight and stuff.
Yeah.
So like it was there for it. But I was like, God, man, I'm sore from just wrapping knees. It's a good thing I'm just a cheerleader today.
Right.
I'm not in shape to wrap knees. Yeah. But man, 700 went up, and I was like, I just watched one of the greatest feats of strength that I've ever seen in my life. That was exactly what I was saying at that point. Like, that is remarkable.
It's almost like imposter syndrome. You feel, I don't feel like it was pot.
Yeah.
Something that I did. Shit. Even today I go, I can do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can get under and do it today, but
you did it.
But I did it.
I love when this situation arises in any circumstance because we all face that imposter syndrome thing, and it's like, good enough. What is good enough?
Right.
And it's like, good enough is not a feeling, though.
Exactly.
It's a reality check. Reality check is you squatted that fucking weight.
Exactly.
You did it. You are good enough to do it.
Oh, yeah.
That's reality.
Yeah.
But we get in our own way sometimes. It's amazing how that.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't really know if I'm this guy or I don't know if I'm that. Well, what's the proof say?
Right.
The proof says you squatted 700 pounds in a sanctioned competition.
Mm-hmm.
Good enough.
Exactly.
That's the reality. We get in our own heads, though, man.
Oh, true.
And in all facets of life, we are survival creatures.
Mm-hmm.
As a human, we are designed to survive.
Exactly.
Not to thrive, to just survive.
Exactly.
And so in moments where we feel a certain way, because it's our survival instinct to get through whatever it is, we're not looking to thrive. We're not looking to accelerate. We're not looking to take on risk. It's just a survival thing. But understanding that that's right in front of me, kind of like the mirror in the window thing.
Oh, yeah.
Look in the mirror. Yep, reality check is I am good enough. So whatever my thoughts were before that, just leave them there. Let them ride.
Oh, yeah.
Fear and faith, both of them are powerful for any human alive.
Oh, absolutely.
If you want the outcome to be good, have faith it'll be good.
Yeah,
If you want it to be bad, then you're probably going to be led with fear.
exactly.
It's our choice, though.
Yeah. And it's, well, the quote that says, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford.
Exactly.
Yep, it was Henry Ford's quote. I use it often
Yeah.
because it is extremely powerful, and it's true. If you can be in a bad mood for no reason, you can be in a good mood for no reason.
Right.
And if a situation doesn't change your life, it shouldn't change your mood.
Right.
We just got to be in control of that.
Exactly.
Emotional regulation is tough sometimes.
Oh, it's terrible.
And, you know, on our pipeline, we got like 100 people on the team, just under 100, and we're growing, and we have all these big things going on, and understanding the temperature of the room. The temperature of the room, what is that temperature like? When you walk in a room, do you understand the temperature of it?
Yeah.
And are you a thermostat or are you the thermometer?
Exactly.
Are you adapting to the environment?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you setting the tone for that environment?
Exactly.
The thermostat is setting the tone.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
setting the temperature. So you walk into an environment, do you adapt with what it already is, or do you do what you do regardless of what it already is?
Exactly.
A lot of people change and become chameleons almost
Right.
in that environment. Blue collar workforce, blue collar industry.
Yep.
You're blue collar guy through and through. We are in construction industry
Yep.
as a general narrative, but we deal with the same type of people, the same blue collar worker who probably don't take care of themselves.
Exactly.
I drink coffee till I can drink alcohol. I smoke. I chew. I drink Mountain Dew. I eat fast food every day.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about your experience and what separated you and your success in your career, like with the iron background, the work ethic, delayed gratification part of
Yeah.
the iron translates huge in
Truly.
business.
Yeah.
Talk about the industry though, and the shape of the industry and what it's like seeing other people make them bad choices.
Right. Really, I think it's truly interesting. Walk on any job site, anywhere. It doesn't have to be Columbus, Ohio, but I always kind of joke that we deal with the pipe fitters union. We deal with the sheet metal workers that work for project managers and mechanical contractor. So our crews are made up from, all walks of life. You got your 18-year-old kid that just graduated high school that
Yeah.
decided to jump into the trade.
Yep.
Great for him. That's a great path. And then you got your 60-year-old guy who's waiting out until 62. So
Yep.
he's got his calendar saying,
Yep.
I got this many days until I'm finally done with
Yep.
this bullshit.
Uh-huh.
And then everybody in between.
Yeah.
And then even between just those age gaps, I was talking to Corey about this the other day. A third of those guys, fitness junkies. They'll carry a gallon jug to the job site.
And that's actually higher than what I would have ever guessed.
Right.
And that's probably changed a lot in the last 5 years. But
you take
yeah.
that third,
Yeah.
but you also take half of them. You go, half of them are the ones that want to stay natural and everything like that. Half of them are going, I'm trying to cheat a system so
Yeah.
that I can get on test. I can
Yeah.
get on shit like that.
Take shortcuts.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are people that are knowledgeable about their health. They,
Right.
they train, they love the iron just like
Right.
us. And that's that. And then there's the other third of the guys who strung out on Mountain Dew. You won't see them with anything. I don't think they've had a drop of water in years.
It's amazing.
And yet those are some of the biggest badass guys that you can meet.
I know.
And just befuddles you almost.
It's like, what could you accomplish in life if you would actually take care of yourself?
Exactly.
You know,
They don't realize they don't feel good.
no.
Yeah.
That's like the catastrophe of our industry. Oh, I feel great. It's physically, by physics definition, it is impossible for you to feel good
Truly. Yeah.
because you are putting complete shit in your body.
Yeah.
Garbage in, garbage out. Your
Yeah.
performance is garbage based. If you would put good fuel in your system, dude, I know a couple people. One guy in particular, he's probably 70, maybe 75 now.
Yeah.
Shredded.
Oh, yeah.
He ran a marathon at 50 years old after he got a 50-year-old checkup.
That's
He
amazing.
ran a marathon
Yeah.
with a cigarette in his mouth, crossing the finish line just as a fuck you to the world.
That's
2 packs a day, 12-pack of Bud Light every night.
yeah.
Drank, smoked his whole entire life. And 50
Yeah.
years old, he was a genetic freak.
Jesus.
Never took care of himself, though.
Yeah.
He would eat McDonald's every day, 2 Big Macs, 2 cherry pies.
Right.
Every day.
That's nuts.
Nothing but coffee. He said, I don't drink water. That shit will make you rust. And it's
then
like,
you look at that and go, where's the hidden potential?
yeah.
Like what were the possibilities?
What did you lock up by your decisions
Yeah.
and was never brought to the surface?
Right.
It's incredible to think like that part of it is there. But then you also see people that die from 30 to 45 because of them choices.
Exactly. Yeah.
Heart attacks before 30, a few of them, like internally at R&R.
Yeah.
Heart attacks or strokes or massive, massive issues
Right.
because of choices.
Yeah.
Diabetes, another big one.
Yeah.
And then part of the reason that the show exists and it sparked my passion so much, 10 to 15 people in the last, I would say 5 to 6 years that I've known personally at one point,
Yeah.
professionally worked with at a for a while, passed away.
That's
A
devastating.
lot of it was from like in that COVID time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't COVID that ultimately killed them. It was their life choices
Yeah.
leading up to it.
Right.
And then they had no ability to overcome some of that. But it's really not that difficult. Like, let's not drink Mountain Dew all day. Let's just drink
Exactly.
some water and some
Yeah.
black coffee. I mean,
Yeah. Compound effect.
I'm not saying like just drink water only. No.
No.
You can drink coffee.
Yeah.
I drink black coffee. I love it.
Right.
Just don't drink Mountain Dew for breakfast with a bag
Exactly.
of donuts.
Yeah.
And then wonder why you're exhausted at 9 o'clock.
Exactly. Yeah.
The
But that's-
insulin spike, like
It's just the
situation,
reality.
dude, it's so.
It's how they go through life.
And I remember these choices in this environment, and I'm like, dead or in jail by 21 was my ceiling of success in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I barely made it through high school. I was basically an alcoholic at 16, got in a bunch of trouble,
Yeah.
and I'm grateful that I'm not today. But there was a high probability that I would still be in jail today if situations I had been in at that age
Yeah.
had not gone catastrophically different. If the things aligned just right for me not to bury myself, basically.
Right.
And I think about that now, and I have so much gratitude for my past experiences and whatnot. But I think about like, oh, my environment then was so bad.
Yeah.
I became a product of it, and I didn't change it.
Yeah.
And you're leading a lot of people in your career.
Trying
How
to.
has that impacted others with your choices?
Really, like I got to talking about the third, and then the other third are the guys that just straight up don't care.
Yeah.
They'll let themselves be overweight. They'll let themselves eat or whatever they want.
Blame life.
Yeah. And those are the guys that when you're walking around a job site, and if you got a gallon jug of water, you almost get shit for that.
Oh, dude, I
Yeah.
always did. Yeah.
It's like, or if you have big legs and jeans just don't fit you
Yeah,
right.
you got tight jeans on.
Yeah. Oh, skinny jeans. It's
Yeah,
like,
skinny jeans.
you don't understand. I can't wear skinny jeans.
Yeah, that's cute. Do you realize how big my quads are? I don't
Right.
squat 700s because of skinny jeans.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Jeez.
But it's really you can tell the people, because people recognize that you're healthy. They see you. I don't always carry around a gallon jug, but people have this assumption that I lead a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
I mean, whether or not time and place in my life I was at that, but
Yeah.
some go that route of wanting to give you shit, but some get curious. And the ones that get curious, those are the ones that really you kind of,
You can help.
you can
They're
help.
interested.
You can give them information, give them things to listen to, and those are the guys that you want to pour into to
Yeah.
try and make a better change. And some of them, they could even be at different levels of their own fitness or lifestyle, health, and all that. But that's kind of where you can find joy in doing that.
I have seen the critic.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the arena my whole life.
Oh, yeah.
I've been in a dogfight essentially. I'm 36 now, so just call it 36 years. I've been fighting something my whole life.
Yeah.
Whether fighting my own incompetence and my own insecurity or fighting my surrounding, whatever it is, I've been fighting something my whole
Yeah.
life. And what I realized is whether I get out of life what I want or not, I have to fight for everything I want.
Right.
Because if you don't fight for it, someone's going to try to hold you back.
Exactly.
But by fighting for what you want, it creates insecurities in others that don't do the same thing.
Truly. Yeah.
So the insecurity that is put down on you from the critic is just a insecurity that they are unwilling to do the thing.
Right.
And when I figured that out, it's like, I'm in the arena all the time. I'm always in the arena. I will be vulnerable and be in that arena and fail publicly.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. because I know that I'm doing it with good intentions and I'm
Exactly.
giving it max effort. I give it everything
Yeah.
I got. If someone's in the stands criticizing me, throwing rocks at me when I'm trying to fight someone in the arena or I'm fighting this thing in the arena, it
Piss
doesn't
on
even
'em.
register, dude.
Yeah.
I don't
Piss
even
on
let it enter. It doesn't go in one ear and out the other. It bounces off the first ear because I don't even
Exactly.
hear it.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter.
Right. And why are you going to live your life trying to put no direct impact to you? Why are you going
None.
to throw that shade
Yeah.
if it's like that's not going to impact you whatsoever? And
Yep.
what do they gain from doing that to you?
If I die in 2 weeks, this person might not come to my funeral if it rains out.
Exactly.
Why the hell would I care about what their opinion is?
Exactly. Yeah.
Unless they're in the arena with me. And then they're not going to criticize you unless it's to help you get better.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because the critic is shitting on you because they're in insecurity. The person in the arena is not pushing you down. They're trying to pick you up in
Exactly.
a way that you need when you're stuck.
Yeah.
Find someone that is successful and find someone that has a life that you desire to have. And when you acknowledge that, I am trying to go accomplish X that they've already accomplished. They might give you some really harsh advice or a reality check.
Right.
It's all good intention.
Exactly. Yeah. The intent is always to get you where you want to be.
Yes.
And what they're probably doing is pointing out what you're not doing or that switch that you need to flip
Yeah.
to
What
get
the hell
you,
are you doing with
to
your
get
life?
you to
Right.
where you want to
Yeah.
be. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the difference. And I think about our industry.
Oh yeah.
If someone wants to accomplish more in life than what they have, the way it's always been done is not the best way.
Exactly.
And in our industry, the way it's always been done is a pretty common theme. We've always done it this way. That's the way we did it back then. That's the way we do it now. You know, it works. It's not broke, don't fix it. No, that's horseshit.
Right.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. Okay, well, it's not broke yet,
Right.
but my truck out there, if it has 4 or 5 lug nuts missing,
Yeah.
it's not broke, but it's about to break.
Exactly.
I would rather be
it'll
proactive than wait till the wheel blows off on the side of the highway.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, that sounds like a poor lifestyle choice when understanding that it's going to break,
Exactly.
like our bodies, like our minds. We have to fuel them properly.
Exactly.
Same as anything else in life.
Yeah.
The choices that we make ultimately land us where we're at today. Our past creates our future.
Yeah.
You can't create a better future, though, until you create a better past.
Exactly.
And the perception of that is huge. Understanding, like, that insecurity part, how have you handled that response to them people when they give you shit?
A lot of time, I just like you said, I laugh it off. Just kind of go, okay. If you want to do that, that's on you. That's not going to make me lose sleep at night.
Yeah.
If you're not with me, then why am I going to worry about you being against me?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just by way of people being adversarial out there. And then now the interesting thing about how we work, and I'm kind of curious to see your thoughts on this because I know your background with your up and coming in R&R is the way I got into where I'm at was I went to college for 4 years, got a construction management degree, and then talk about networking relationships. But a friend of mine through college said, "Oh, my dad works. He's a COO for a mechanical contractor in Columbus." I was like, "I got a construction management degree." I was like, "Well, I'll
Give it a
meet
shot.
him." So I meet him, sat down with him, probably a half hour. He walked me around the shop, internship, walking out the door. I was like, "Awesome!" And that's just one of the. Wasn't even a formal interview. It was just somebody gauging you on how you
Common
carry
sense.
yourself. Yeah.
Really? Because it's very,
Sometimes-
it's missing.
Yeah, sometimes when somebody walks in a room, you just know. You're like, they're going to work hard. They're going to give everything they got.
The resume tells me they got the it factor.
Exactly. Yeah. And then getting to know them is when you go, okay, that could be something special or not. And even looking and evaluating people that we bring in now is,
Yeah.
a key. And so went to work, did the internship, and then they offered me a job at the end of that summer. So I finished my last year of school, went back to work for them, and it was interesting to be a 23-year-old, I'm going to say kid, as an assistant project manager, because with us being union, I can't touch anything. And there's a perception of me from the entire field that I've never touched a tool. I mean, they can assume what they want, and to a reality, no, I have not hung pipe number one. But my understanding is, and really college didn't teach me how to do that either, how to manage that either. What the college taught me was how to learn and how to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got in and I just said, I'm going to be a sponge.
Mm-hmm.
And I latched on to some of the older foremen who kind of took me under the wing.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't know what I don't know. And I don't know what you do daily, but I want to learn from you.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of that time spent being an assistant PM, I was able to, one, not have to worry about the budgets or anything like that, but I spent that time building my relationships with the people around me and figuring out who is going to best get me to that next level. And so, you know, then you learn what ductwork is and systems, and you pick up all those nuances to that. And then 6 months into my full-time job, still just turned 24 or whatever, and somebody gets let go out of the office and they go, okay, well, now we got to need, here's these projects, go ahead and start managing budgets. And I was like, okay. It's like, well, I've still learning this. And I think it's always funny talking to some of the older heads in the construction, because a lot of the bigger general contractors that hire these engineers and kids out of college who don't go with the mentality of they don't know what they don't know. They have a degree and all of a sudden think they know it all.
Yep.
And I, thank God, that's just not my nature really, to think that I know it all. I try to be genuinely curious, but I can see how they react to those guys, and they go, that kid's an asshole, I'm going to stay away from him. And I'm also probably going to make his life a little bit harder.
Yep. Oh, for sure. Make it harder.
They're going to go out of their way to make
We're
it
going to
harder.
set them up to fail.
Exactly.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah. So really going in, and then all of a sudden I'm managing projects, and that within that first year, and then the next year they give me that promotion to the title project manager at that point. So 24 years old, I had to learn how to navigate, one, a bunch of older people in the office.
Been doing it longer than I've been alive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's on the back end of their careers. And then I'm just trying to figure out, you know, some of the newer, better ways that in my mind, maybe, you know, if it works, great. If it doesn't, okay, I tried.
Worth a shot, right?
Yeah. But then, and trying to get respect from the guys doing the projects out in the field was, and on all honesty, number one for me, top priority. I was like, I need that guy to respect me, that I am going to stay out of his way, let him do his job while also supporting him the best. I think one of the most profound things I heard, really just in project, doesn't matter what age you are, is in project management, you and the foreman are basically the team that's going to get the job done. And it's a Batman-Robin relationship. And one, you're Batman, they're Robin. When you first get the job, you got to do the buyout, you got to get the material, you got to make sure everything's ordered on time. But then when the job gets started and it's boots on the ground and they're starting to go, you got to turn it over to them. And you got to make the money decisions and do what's best for the company. But ultimately, you got to support that person who's out there daily, because they're going to be the biggest advocate for making sure you can come in under schedule and under budget.
Yep. It's interesting because very similar time frame to yours. My college, though, was 2 years of failure in the workforce. 18 to 20, shithead.
Yeah.
No advancement, no care, no desire. 20 to 23, though, bottom end labor. I started at $9 an hour.
Yeah.
With a shovel in my hand. That was my career path beginning in 2007. 5 years after that, so 2 years of going nowhere, no raises, no advancement.
Yeah.
And then I flipped the switch. 20 to 23, I focused on what I knew was possible.
Yeah.
Which was very little.
Right.
The next certification, I'm gonna obtain that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna apply myself outside of R&R.
Build
I'm
yourself.
not getting paid
Right.
to do this, but I'm going to apply myself when I'm not getting paid. When I started working on myself as much as I was working on my job during the day, my life changed. So 20 to 23, labor still, foreman.
Exactly.
35 men on one project.
Yeah.
Was my first job, right outside of Athens, Ohio, in Albany, Ohio. And I realized me trying to do it all is going to eliminate the possibility of anybody doing it well.
Exactly.
These people were here for a reason, just like I am. I became really intentional about navigating personnel.
Yeah.
Is the hoe operator the right person for that? Well, let me look at the reality check, right?
Right.
The guy on the hoe is a 150-pound wiry dude that shovels his butt off, and the guy in the ditch is 350 and out of breath after one shovel.
Exactly.
They can both operate the same equally.
Mm-hmm.
One stays in the seat for what he needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
The other one's a physical animal.
Yeah.
Switch them.
Right.
Production skyrocketed.
Exactly.
Held them accountable, but gave them what they needed to be successful.
Yeah.
Even as an owner today, my responsibility is to give everyone direction,
Yeah.
purpose,
Yep.
and support them along the way.
Yeah.
It's not to manage them.
Exactly.
I'm not a manager of people. I am a supporter of other people getting to manage their teams
Yeah.
and their groups. I am nothing more than really a supporting navigator.
Exactly.
That is my role now, is to create a better future
Mm-hmm.
and let them in the present execute at what they're great at.
Exactly.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Very hard to do sometimes.
Oh,
though.
truly. Yeah.
Letting go of the vine. It's a term that we use
Mm-hmm.
frequently. Micromanagement is the absolute detriment to most organizations
It'll kill
because
you.
nobody grows.
Exactly.
If someone tells me, oh, nobody can do it the way I can, that tells me that they are actually unable to train anybody.
Yeah.
It's not that you're great at it. Whether you're good at it or not is irrelevant, but you're only as good as your ability to train the next person to take your spot.
Exactly. And people have this job security issue that keeps them from allowing that to happen.
Yeah.
And
If you fear competition, what you're really scared of is your own
Exactly.
insecurity.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Anytime someone's like, I don't want them to come in here, what happens to me? They take my job. Well, you're still here.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, if the intent was to get rid of that person, they should already be gone.
Right. Yeah.
If they're still here, though, maybe there's something bigger that you just don't see yet or haven't been told yet.
Yeah.
But if you're focused on not losing your job, you're playing defense
Mm-hmm.
in an offensive world.
Yeah.
Do your job and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, do your job to the best of your ability every day. That's like a lot like you were saying, and I know I've heard you touch on before. So you guys implement like EOS and stuff, the right person, right seat.
Mhm. Massive, dude.
Huge.
Massive.
Huge.
Life changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we actually had a guy, we had a change of guard a couple years ago, and the guy brought in EOS for our group too, and it's on a scale of 5 satellite offices and everything. So we do the L10. It's
So you guys run on EOS too?
Yeah, yeah.
It is, is it the best system?
Probably
I don't
not.
know. It's a very simple system that is very good and easy to scale.
With proven results. You have testimonies of people that say,
It's undeniable proof,
this
right?
worked. Yeah,
And, well, what if this isn't the best system? Well, the one that we have now isn't the best. I can tell you that because we don't
Exactly.
fucking have one.
yeah,
And EOS is a pretty good system proven by all these different companies in different industries. 10 to 250 people is what they talk about. That's the range normally
yeah,
for the organization to have that.
yeah.
We're going to outgrow it in a couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Doesn't mean it's not still the right system.
No,
But right now, I can tell you it is the right one. Because
Right.
if we didn't have it, we'd have nothing.
exactly.
I can tell you that not having that is painful.
Mm-hmm.
System, save yourself some time, energy, and money.
Yeah,
That's what a system represents to me. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's hard to run a business. It's hard to run a crew or project.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard. It's a lot harder when you don't have clarity on what the end result looks like and how you're going to get there.
yeah,
Whether you have the right plan or not, don't matter. Having a plan and then challenging yourself, being vulnerable to face the reality as it changes. You got to have a plan,
Exactly.
obviously.
yeah,
But you just got to really have that direction and clarity about the next step.
yeah.
The perfect plan is not, it doesn't exist.
No, it all goes to shit after week 1 anyway.
Dude, it does. And that's the reality about it. Every adventure that I've been hesitant on or something that I wanted to start, when I started this show 18 months ago, it's like, I don't know anything about a podcast.
No,
I didn't realize that the lighting setup. Oh, it's very, very strategic on how to set up light.
This
It's
is
by
legit.
design.
This is legit.
The mics, the stands, the roadcaster, the laptop setup, the camera set. There's so much to it.
Yeah,
I'll just get on there and talk. There's a lot of difference there, right?
truly.
But I had to be willing to commit, regardless of my confidence
Yeah.
level. I had to commit to it.
Right.
I call it Pursuit 151. I don't know if you've heard or not, but
Not that. No.
200 shares total. So 200 total, 100 commitment, 100 confidence. So you think about when taking on something, confidence comes with commitment.
Truly. Yeah.
Anybody that says, yeah, I'm 100% confident in that, never done it, they're full of shit. 100 all the way through full shit.
Yeah.
You have to be committed because by commitment, you gain confidence by the ability to do it.
Exactly.
If you are 100% committed, I say go for it. You don't have to be 100% confident,
Yeah.
but you have to be 51% confident.
Exactly.
So 100 commitment, 51 confident, go for it. 51% tells me I know enough to truly be confident that I'm going to get what I want out of this.
Right.
But I also know that I don't know very damn much. And so
Right.
I know that I don't know much, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm vulnerable enough to admit that. 51% confidence, though, tells me I know enough to get started,
Exactly.
but I'm committed.
Yeah.
And by commitment alone, the default of commitment is getting better because
Exactly.
you're committed.
Oh yeah.
The guarantee of a commitment is you're either going to understand the reality you don't want to do it, or you're going to get better and you still go forward.
Yeah. Take it back to the weight. Benching 400 pounds.
Yeah. I didn't start with 400.
Exactly.
I didn't start with 3 plates. I started
Exactly.
with a bar.
Exactly. Just
And
like
then the
everybody
compound
else.
effect over years went to that higher weight.
Your commitment led you to the confidence in being able to do what you do.
1,000%. And we overanalyze and make things so complex. We really just need to simplify.
Truly.
I don't want to add stuff to my life. I want to subtract.
Oh yeah.
What are the 3 goals, the 5 goals that I have on an annual basis? You know, in 1 year, I want to accomplish these 3 to 5 things, really 1 to 5 things.
Yeah.
Sometimes only 1 goal is enough.
Yeah.
1 to 5 things this year. Okay. Everything that I do should go toward that.
Mm-hmm.
I should advance that goal being accomplished with everything I do. And if I don't, I'm not spending my time wisely. I'm distracted.
Right. Yeah.
So when an opportunity comes up, oftentimes the thing that we do when taking on that opportunity is not give ourselves the ability to accomplish our goals.
Right.
But having goals alone is not the only thing that matters,
No.
because our goals are great, but we don't rise to the level of the goals. We fall to the level of our system.
Yeah.
You can. I'm going to go to the moon next year. I'm going to become a rocket scientist. I'm going to build a fucking rocket, go to NASA,
Right.
and tell them I'm going to the moon.
Yeah.
Cool. Good luck.
And if you don't wake up tomorrow and open a book, it's not going to happen.
And it's probably never going to happen
Right.
for the simple fact that that goal is unattainable.
Exactly.
So EOS, the smart
Yeah.
analogy, is it specific? What do you mean specific? You know, people get so confused over these simple things.
Yeah.
Specific would be, my shirt, is it black or white? It's black. It's not
Exactly.
gray or
Yeah.
white. It's black.
Yeah.
Fact. Check. Is it measurable? I want to lose 20 pounds in the next 2 months. 10 pounds month 1, 10 pounds month 2.
Yep.
It's measurable.
Yeah.
Is it attainable?
Right.
Can I actually do it? Is it realistic and is it timely?
Exactly.
So it has to be thought out that way. And everything in life is. If you're not setting clear expectations for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
then how do you have clear outcomes?
Exactly.
And so if you don't have if you can't see a target, if you don't have a target in mind and you can't see it, how do you hit it? And better
Exactly.
yet, Brian, how do you hit a target you don't have?
Exactly.
You don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just, we got to talking just a little bit. You're joking about me making it to the gym 5 days this week. Huge for me. And a lot of people in the 4AM crew will laugh about that. But the squad only contract was a wonderful thing. But we touched on it a little bit. I came to the last weekend, I sat and, being raw with it, my wife and I were having some troubles. And through reflection, I just went, I've been floating. I haven't had that SMART goal. Year began and I was like, want to do this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But I almost had myself fooled. And I was like, you haven't been anchored to anything. You go to work and you get your work done, but that's because you have to be at work for so many hours out of the day. And you have to get the stuff done, so it gets done.
Not being intentional about it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I was missing this anchor. And it's really funny because everybody around me this week has kind of said, you're different this week. Well, because I said, I need to find an anchor, and I said that anchor is either going to be in faith, it's going to be the weight room. I chose weight room, obviously, because I said Monday, I'm getting my ass out of bed. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to deadlift because
Right.
I haven't
It
done
also
that in a
had
while.
faith in there too, because you have faith that this is the thing you need to get your outcome.
Exactly.
Different than, yeah.
And
I'm
because
with you.
my whole life has led me through knowing that that is something that's going to ground me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because on Tuesday I was walking past Corey. He's like, "Good to see you 2 days in a row." I said, "Good to be here 2 days in a row." I said, "Through all the chaos in life, I said I needed to find the anchor."
Mm-hmm.
And so, I wasn't being intentional with my time at home. I wasn't being intentional with my time on my health. I want to be healthier. I actually am doing a fitness challenge that I kind of set up for me and my family.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my wife, my brothers and their wives, and it's going well. But then I said, so I set this up, and all these my other family members are striving towards their goals, and I'm the one tallying the goals. And it was humbling as I opened my computer to tally it up. I was like, well, I'm tied for last. It's like, well, shit. So I said,
You're the fitness guy.
exactly.
Yeah.
And my oldest brother, he's got his fitness goals. He's perfect. We said you're going to set 4 goals because not everybody wanted to lose weight. So we said just choose 4 fitness, health, personal things that you want to do weekly. And that's it because we tried to find smart goals.
Absolutely.
And then we said everybody's going to get a 1 out of 4, 0 to 4 score. And then we're just deciding how long we want to take quarterly. You can change up the goals. It's an ever changing thing, but it was very, thankfully I had my wife to tell me I wasn't being intentional with to prove and check me and say, I'm not being a good husband. So I said, shit, that priority number 1, I need to make sure I'm being intentional with my time. I need to make sure I'm being the best husband I can be. And then I said, I'm just floating around. So I came to this realization, said, I got to lock down my life. And I leaned on step 1, I'm going to the gym in the morning.
Back to the basics.
Exactly. And like I said, people have said, you're noticeably happier. You're on your shit. And I feel better.
You're just intentional about it.
Exactly.
You're doing something with purpose and passion.
Yeah.
You're not just going through the motions.
Exactly.
The bureaucratic hamster wheel is how I describe it.
Yeah.
It is the life cycle of wake up pissed, go to work pissed, come home pissed, eat pissed, mad at your wife, take it out on everyone except for yourself.
Exactly.
And if you're not intentional about what you're doing every day, you end up becoming unintentional about anything. And if you're focused on everything, you're not focused on one thing that is actually going to get better.
Exactly.
And so like knowing that, what is focus? Focus is something that so many people misconstrued, I think, through and through. It is hard to focus on one task because we are in such a environment of distraction. Instant gratification is at the forefront of everything.
Yeah.
I can have access to any piece of information I want in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So delayed gratification is not something that's taught.
Exactly.
It's not taught, it's caught, really. You
Right.
catch the ability to achieve something because of the instant gratification not being at the forefront.
Yeah.
I have to work hard for a very long time to see no return on investment, but one day, after doing bicep curls for a year, I'm going to see this vein pop out. I'm going to be a different person.
Exactly.
And you lead with faith knowing that that's the outcome, or at least perceived outcome.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it happens, though.
No.
But you have to do something for a very long time. It's the compound effect.
Yeah.
I always, I reference a kid's birthday party.
Yeah.
And there's a pinata, and they got all these kids coming out with this big old stick. And you got like all the Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, like all these sluggers coming out, at this birthday party, smacking this thing and won't break. And then you got Susie Q, who was standing on the sideline terrified of this thing. And she comes up and she swings as hard as she can, barely moves the stick, very, very much at all. And she misses the pinata and turns around and accidentally comes over her shoulder and like pops it and just hits the pinata, explodes.
Yeah.
It wasn't that blow that actually did it. It was all the ones that compounded before that.
Exactly.
That last one, though, was just showcasing the result. The compound effect is real.
Truly.
You just have to do something and get good at being bored.
Yes. And have that.
Be bored. This is what matters, and this is all I'm going to focus on.
Yeah.
And by saying no to all these other things, I'm saying yes to this being accomplished. Be bored.
Yeah. Just take that one step at a time. You don't climb the mountain by jumping.
No. and on the journey to 1,000 miles, it starts with the first step.
Exactly.
And it continues with the next step.
Yeah.
So even when there is a moment of setback or a moment of uncertainty, just reset and focus on the next step.
Exactly.
Don't worry about getting to the end. Worry
Yeah.
about the next advancement. 1% better. Just
Exactly.
that next step is all that matters.
Yeah.
It is often overlooked, though. It's too boring or too easy or too whatever to do that every day.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want the thing now. Well, no, you don't, because you don't want to work for it.
Right.
The best way to accomplish your goals in life or your aspirations is to realize that they're going to be really fucking hard. It's going to take a really long time. And 90% of the time, you're probably going to wonder if it's possible to achieve it or if you even want it anymore.
Exactly.
But when you get it, you realize that that journey was part of the reward.
Exactly.
It's not the accolade that ultimately, whenever we accomplish something, your 700-pound squat, that day was to showcase that whole thing.
Yeah.
But you didn't just show up that day and achieve greatness. It was all the moments before that.
Truly.
And I would say that you probably have more memories of all the sessions in the gym
That
than you
training
do that
cycle
day.
leading up to it. Oh,
It's
yeah.
the person you became
Yeah.
that was able to squat 700 pounds,
Yeah.
not the squat.
Exactly.
It's the internal thing, not the external thing.
Right.
Our industry has this instant gratification, pride driven, cutthroat, no collaboration. I'm better than that guy. Fuck him, whatever.
Yeah.
We live in a world of putting people down and not lifting people up.
Exactly.
And I think what's going to happen in our industry, you can tell me your opinion, we're going into a direction where the amount of work that is needing done is so high and the manpower is so low, the work volume's going up and the manpower is not going up.
Right.
It's either plateauing or going down. How do we accomplish the ultimate goal, which is getting the work done safely with a high quality product? How's
Right.
it done? It's got to be through a collaboration.
Has to be.
A draft horse by itself, I think it's 16,000 pounds a draft horse can pull by itself, or 10,000 pounds. I think it's 10,000 pounds by itself. It can pull 10,000.
Yeah.
Put two of them together, you would think naturally 20,000, right?
Right.
It's actually 32,000 pounds that it can pull when combined, because it's two forces going in the same direction with unity, clarity, going that same thing for the same goal.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the exact weights, but it is like data
It's
shows that
exponential. It's not just additional growth. It's exponential growth.
it is.
And it starts
It's an
to explode.
accelerator.
Yeah.
There are not shortcuts, Brian, but there are accelerators,
Exactly.
and that's your network, your environment, what you do in your off time. What are you consuming? What's the media, the content? What are you focused on?
Exactly.
All them things matter,
Yeah.
but it's the incremental things throughout the day, throughout the year, that end up becoming who we are.
Truly. Yeah. And I'm like I said, finding your anchor in going to the gym. It wasn't even just going to the gym. It was, I'm going to go to the gym, but I'm also going to surround myself with all the high performers that I'm very blessed to be able to surround myself with.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to walk in there and Jake Emery's going to be in there working his ass off. Corey's going to be working his ass off. It's all that network and relationships that have been built, that I've been fortunate to surround myself with that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't just going because I wanted to lift weights. I could have gone to the garage and done that,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't have been fulfilling. It wouldn't have been as
You
fulfilling.
need that environment.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are begging for a reality check from someone. In this case, it was your wife, right?
Oh, yeah.
She gave you the reality check you needed, desperately needed probably. And it was just enough, just subtle enough for you to see, yep, she's right. And whether you said it outward, to her, or you knew internally, I got to face this thing and fix it. And that's
Exactly.
what you did.
Yep.
Josh Akers, our director of operations, he was faced with this situation a few years ago, and he just came on board, I think last year. Yeah, it'd been a year ago in 24, so it was September 23. And he was like 400 pounds, and he had his date with the devil at the doctor's office. Diabetic, insulin issues, all these issues. He's overweight, he's not moving enough. And they said, we need you to take all these pills.
Right.
And he had to look in the mirror and say, all right, I can take all these pills and become another person that has all these issues for the rest of my life. Or I can make a change and do the hard thing, take the hard road.
Exactly.
And he said, if I lose X amount of weight in 6 months, do I still need them? No.
Right.
Came back 6 months, lost way more weight than planned, changed his life. Not only his life, but he changed generations to come. Because he set the stage for his daughters and his son. and they changed their life after he did. Now the whole family's committed to fitness.
Yeah, him just doing that is the leading example.
Exactly. And the power in it, though, was he made that choice. He took that lonely road.
Yeah.
And we've all had that lonely road. But that choice, man, you're faced with it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's faith or fear, once again.
Right.
Fear, I'll just bury myself along with these poor choices.
Exactly.
Faith is being a little bit vulnerable and saying, you know what? I really screwed this up, or I really need this thing. I'm not doing it right now. And even if you're just holding yourself accountable to doing what you know you need to do,
Yep.
we normally don't need new information, dude. We just need to be, reminded more. We need to be taught.
Yeah. You just need to, one day at a time, be intentional about, like, not getting lost in the daily BS that surrounds every single one of us.
Don't get distracted.
Exactly.
The foundation, though, is so crucial.
Truly.
I think we are always going to evolve, but there's certain things that will evolve our ability in, but the foundation's always going to be there. Personal development, professional development,
Yeah.
lifting weights, the fitness component, sharpening our mind and our body, always
Exactly.
are going to be foundational. Now, how we do it evolves, and what we do with it evolves. But if we ever stop doing it, we stop evolving.
Exactly. I mean, you could even just say reading different books is the evolution. You can read one personal development book and it's going to be the same thing over and over and over. Or
You could take 5 years off your life, dude.
Yeah. Or
As
you're
far
gonna,
as, a pain point.
yeah. Or you're going to find yourself all these different avenues to better yourself. And that feedback looks different.
Personal development is so big for me. I know that I'm not that smart. I'm really not that damn smart.
Right.
I'm really not that good at anything, to be honest with you. I wasn't an athlete. I didn't play sports. I got cut from the basketball team in school. Like, I was never gifted at anything.
Gifted at hard work.
I was actually lazy my whole entire life. Growing up, I was lazy. I was gifted in a few things, but one thing being conviction.
Yeah.
I had this conviction from a very young age. I used to get hell for not changing my oil myself.
Okay.
And it would cost me $20 to go get the shit to do it, or $18 to go to the Jiffy Lube or whatever. And I'd read a book for an hour while they did it.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I don't like to do this. It pisses me off. And I'm always in a hurry and I forget doing stuff. Like, it's so simple.
Yeah.
I don't like doing it. It's like not something I want to do. And it's actually costing me money and time to do it. So if I trade that in and say, okay, well, time, I get an hour. Money, it's a wash. With 1 hour, what can I do to better myself?
Right.
Dude, it was that simple for me. It's like a math equation. I was like, I don't really give a fuck what anybody says about it. I'm just going to do me.
Exactly.
Conviction. The other part was sometimes the math just ain't math, and 1 + 1 isn't 14. And like,
Right.
sometimes things just don't add up, and you just got to face that for what it is. And it doesn't mean that whatever that reality is good.
Yeah.
Can be bad, more likely bad, but it is what it is. But it doesn't mean that I have to become that.
No.
I have the choice to become who I want. And you just start looking at life very simplistic.
Yeah.
Simple scales, complex fails.
Exactly.
Life is so complicated in itself. By making it more complex, we ultimately dilute any smart goal.
Yeah.
Complexity creates a lack of clarity. I think complexity also creates a lack of accountability,
Truly.
because you set a goal. I want to be healthy and lose weight. Cool. What's that look like?
Right.
I want to be healthy and lose weight. What does done look like?
Exactly. Do you have a number?
How
in
do you
mind?
measure it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to lose weight. Great. How much? Well, I don't know. Okay, cool. How much? Like, give me a specific number.
Exactly.
Oh, you don't know? Okay, 30 pounds. That's your number. By when? 3 months. There you go.
Yeah.
Go do that. Come back to me.
Yeah.
I've done that so many times. Don't tell me something that's so generic that you can't measure the outcome.
Exactly.
You can't manage what you can't measure.
Yeah.
And
Then
that's
you're-
fact.
There's no vision for you to follow. How do you know what the score is? The
What's
game
done
is?
look like? Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where I was going to go with the score. If you're trying to accomplish a goal, you're trying to win. If you can't see the score, if the score's not there, if nobody's keeping score, how do you win?
Exactly.
You don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be specific about it. And it's really simple.
Oh, yeah.
But it's scary because accountability comes into play.
People hate it.
And I think people are terrified to hold themselves accountable or face the failure.
Yeah. I mean, everybody naturally is. That's something that a lot of individuals are able to grow themselves to like you taking your shirt off at the gym, you know, you go, this is something that terrifies me, but I'm going to face it daily.
What is the person who will I become by facing this fear daily?
Right.
Ooh, think about that. You know, like if I do this thing that sets me back, if I do the opposite of the setback, who do I become?
Exactly. You start
Anybody
looking,
the fuck I want, right?
Start looking at hidden potential of people. What are they scared of? They're scared of making a change. Scared of doing something hard.
Scared of failing or scared of succeeding.
Yeah.
Failure to succeed is something that I've seen too, and this was new for me. You overcome something and succeed in whatever it is. You change. So your environment changes.
Exactly.
The people around you see you change. How they feel about it can change you.
Yeah.
If you let it. And I think that is one of the things that just gets so muddy. It's like sabotage is comfortable because it's all you've ever known. You know, for my whole life, all I ever knew of this sabotage and this thing. I think self-sabotage is just like a comfortable place for so many people because it's all they've ever known. So they fear succeeding because they don't have that comfort there anymore.
Yeah.
Because accomplishing something that you've never done before is scary.
Truly.
And who you become is probably even more scary.
Yeah.
Because that's when the imposter syndrome sets in and then your environment changes. And there's so many unknowns. But if I have this sabotage happen again, I know what I got.
Exactly.
That's why a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate your time today, dude. This was
Yeah.
all over the freaking place.
Right.
Man, at the end of it though, iron built. I'm iron built, you're iron built.
Oh yeah.
That's what the show's all about. How the iron built my infrastructure. That's why I named it that. Personal and professional.
Exactly.
It's lined up everything for me, man.
Me too.
I have so much respect for what you're doing. Keep fighting a good fight, brother. It is a grind every day. What we do in the blue collar workforce in itself, it's hard.
It is.
It's really hard.
It is.
We carry weight that people will never be able to understand. And we'll never let them understand. That's why we carry it, because we're capable of doing it.
Exactly.
And back to the basics, keep that foundation there. And if you believe a good outcome will happen, it will.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
It sounds woohoo, and I know so many people like shit on it, but they're unwilling to try it, and they don't have good outcomes because they never believe a good outcome can happen to them.
Yeah.
So nothing but respect for the blue collar workforce, the journey that you're on, and the iron games. Your numbers speak for themselves. Talk about smart. But I'm going to leave it to you. Final thoughts.
No, I appreciate you having me on, man. It's very humbling to be able to be invited to do something like this, especially hearing some of the people you've had on here before, and you go, damn, some of those guys' stories are so profound, and you go, I'm not that. I squat, but I'm not that interesting. But I think really timing was really kind of cool, and it seemed like everything kind of hit in a weird spot. Like even just this last week looking, but it's the buildup of the last 2 months. It just feels like this whole thing is starting to line up. Like I said, I'm taking it a day at a time to make sure I'm keeping myself intentional and on the right path. But, you know, I got a lot of respect for what you're doing with this podcast, because episode 1, when you opened it up and I said, you know, I was like,
what a shit show. Like,
well,
oh my God.
It doesn't matter how good it was, but the intent behind it was, we talked about the construction industry and, you know, the stereotypical man mentality of, I can't ask for help. And I'm just going to keep living my life. You know, I'm going to go home. I'm going to drink however many beers tonight. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to live the same life. And that's normal. And people don't, you've said it, everybody's said it so many times, is you don't know how good you can feel. So I think an outlet like this, and to try and get it into the hands of a lot of the blue collar workers, I got a lot of respect for you doing it. And I appreciate it. That's why episode 1, I was like, that's something I kind of want to attempt to be a part of. And I'm really, like I said, blessed that you invited me on.
Well, dude, you're a prime example of, you know, someone like myself. We're aligned on who we are as individuals and our career path. Our personal, professional interests are pretty similar, right?
Right.
And I knew at minimum 2 years I was going to commit. I said 2 years on the show, I'm going to go all in. I don't know if it's going to work. It probably won't, because this shit I'd suck at. I sucked way worse than I did when I started. I didn't even know what I didn't know.
Right.
I sucked at 10 things I knew about, and there was 100 other things I didn't know about yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I was willing to be vulnerable and put myself out there, knowing that my end vision for this is much bigger than just the podcast.
Exactly.
I want to change the industry.
Right.
I want to make an impact on people that they understand, you know what? Everybody has greatness inside of them.
Exactly.
And the day that you believe that and start believing that you have something great inside of you is the day that you'll start to unpack it.
Exactly.
But not believing in that, greatness is internal.
Truly.
And it's different for everybody.
It needs to be mined too.
It does. If you don't pull it out, it just gets buried with you, and your life
Right.
never showcases the greatness that's possible.
Exactly.
And greatness is like success, dude. It's individual.
Mm-hmm.
It is a fingerprint. It is yours and yours only.
Yeah.
And what makes you feel successful in life or fulfilled in life is your greatness.
Exactly.
And letting the world know that it's okay to do that and empowering other people to find that.
Yep.
My mission is to inspire and empower other people to unlock their greatness.
Exactly.
That is my mission in life now. And it starts with me wanting to help the person that needed it 20 years ago.
Right.
That's why I'm so passionate about it.
Exactly.
Because if I would have had who I'm becoming currently, if that person would have existed 20 years ago,
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be sitting here, but my life would have been a lot easier.
Right.
I never prayed for an easy life, though.
Right.
I prayed for the opportunity to get stronger and the opportunity to help other people.
Yeah.
And my passions in life, heavy equipment, weightlifting,
Yep.
the iron.
Yeah.
They built my infrastructure. Now I want to help other people build theirs.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about, dude.
And through this, what are your episodes up to? 130?
125 or 30, yeah.
So
Something like that.
You have, if you go up to 18-year-old you in the field, somebody that's on that path that works for R&R, and you say, hey, I understand where you're at. I understand where you want to be. Here's 130 gifts of something that you can listen to maybe make yourself better. It's up to them to latch onto that and take it, but you're providing this
Platform.
feedback platform, whatever it may be, for these people to take it if they want.
Yeah. And the other part is my story is not special. It's just unique to me.
Mm-hmm.
And is it special to the world? I don't know. It's mine, and it's mine only.
Mm-hmm.
So it's unique to me because it's mine, right?
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But one thing that I can tell people at 22 years old, I set out a goal to buy R&R by the time I was 30.
And you achieve
And I
it.
did it.
Yep.
So why can't you?
Right.
It's not for sale. Anything can be bought. Everything has a price tag, right?
Exactly.
There's no intent to ever sell the company, but if you're 22, you know you can buy it.
Yeah.
Don't tell me it's impossible.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what I was told when I did it.
Surround yourself with the people that can tell you how and the that know the resources that you need to do so.
You have to find opportunity that's going to change your life.
Yep.
And if you haven't found it yet, you should be looking every day.
Exactly.
And that is when you really start to live, in my opinion.
Truly.
We die twice in life, Brian. Okay? First time is when we're buried in the ground. And the second time is the last time that somebody says your name.
Exactly. That's profound. That's profound.
That's powerful, right?
Yeah.
So who are you remembered as whenever you go? We're all going to die. We're not all going to live.
Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, live your life, achieve your greatness. Brian Callahan is a prime specimen and example of greatness. 700-pound squatter, 242, live in the blue-collar world and going against the grain in the industry.
Doing our best.
I love it. Brian, thanks for coming in today. That is the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast, blue-collar representation today. Look at the work boots, ladies and gentlemen, and we're out.
Much appreciated, sir.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by Max Effort Muscle. For all your supplement needs, go to maxeffortmuscle.com.